Chapter 56. Nico. At dawn he was still awake when someone rapped at the door. He turned, registering a face with blonde hair, and for a split second thought it was Will Solis. When Nico realized it was Jason, he was disappointed. Then he felt angry with himself for feeling that way. He hadn't talked to Will since the battle. The Apollo kids had been too busy with the injured. Besides, Will probably blamed Nico for what happened to Octavian. Why wouldn't he? Nico had basically permitted whatever it was. Murder by consensus? A gruesome suicide? By now, Will Solis realized just how creepy and revolting Nico D'Angelo was. Of course, Nico didn't care what he thought, but still. "You okay?" Jason asked. "You look..." "Fine," Nico snapped. Then he softened his tone. "If you're looking for Hazel, she's still asleep." Jason mouthed, "Oh," and gestured for Nico to come outside. Nico stepped into the sunlight and blinked and disoriented. Perhaps the cabin's designers had been right about the children of Hades being like vampires. He was not a morning person. Jason didn't look as though he slept any better. His hair had a cowlick on one side, and his new glasses sat crookedly on his nose. Nico resisted the urge to reach out and straighten them. Jason pointed to the strawberry fields, where the Romans were breaking camp. It was strange to see them there. Now it'll be strange not seeing them there. "Do you regret not going with them?" Nico said. Jason's smile was lopsided. "A little bit, but I'm going back and forth between camps a lot. I have a lot of shrines to build." "I heard. The Senate plans to elect you Pontifex Maximus." Jason shrugged. "I don't care about the title so much. I do care about making sure that the gods are remembered. I don't want them fighting out of jealousy anymore, or taking out their frustrations on the demigods." "They're gods," Nico said. "That's their nature." "Maybe, but I can try and make it better. I guess Leo would say that I'm acting like a mechanic, doing preventive maintenance." Nico sensed Jason's sorrow like an oncoming storm. "You know, you could not have stopped Leo. There was nothing that could have been done differently. He knew what would happen. He knew it had to happen." "I guess. I don't suppose you can tell if he's still..." "He's gone," Nico said. "I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you otherwise, but I sensed his death." Jason stared into the distance. Nico felt guilty for squashing his hopes. He was almost tempted to mention his own doubts. What a different sensation Leo's death had given him. Even as if Leo's soul had invented its own way into the underworld. Something that involved a lot of gears, levers, and steam-powered pistons. Nevertheless, Nico was sure Leo Valdez had died, and death was death. It wouldn't be fair to give Jason false expectations. In the distance, the Romans were picking up their gear and toting it across the hill. On the other side, so Nico had heard, a fleet of black SUVs waited to transport the Legion cross-country back to California. Nico guessed that would be an interesting road trip. He imagined the entire 12th Legion in the drive-thru lane at Burger King. He imagined some hapless monster terrorizing a random demigod in Kansas, only to find himself surrounded by several dozen carloads of heavily armored Romans. "Ella the Harpy's going with them, you know," Jason said. "She and Tyson, Eve and Rachel Elizabeth there. They're going to work together to try and reconstruct the sibling books." "That should be interesting." "Could take years," Jason said. "But with the voice of Delphi extinguished..." "Rachel still can't see the future?" Jason shook his head. "I wish I knew what happened to Apollo in Athens. Maybe Artemis will get him out of trouble with Zeus and the power of prophecy will work again. But for now, those sibling books might be our only way to get guidance for quests." "Personally," Nico said, "I could do without prophecies or quests for a while." "You got a point." Jason straightened his glasses. "Look, Nico, I wanted to talk to you. I know what you said back at Oster's place. I know you already turned down a place at Camp Jupiter. I probably can't change your mind about leaving Camp Half-Blood, but I have to..." "I'm staying." Jason blinked. "What?" "At Camp Half-Blood. The Hades cabin needs a head counselor. Have you seen the decor? It's disgusting. I'll have to remodel, and someone needs to do the burial rites properly, since the demigods insist on dying heroically." "Dude, that's fantastic!" Jason opened his arms for a hug, then froze. "Right, no touching, sorry." Nico grunted. "I suppose we can make an exception." Jason squeezed him so hard Nico thought his ribs would crack. "Oh man," Jason said. "Wait till I tell Piper. Hey, since I'm all alone in my cabin too, you and I can share a table at the dining hall. We can team up for capture the flag and sing-along contests, and... Are you trying to scare me away? Sorry. Whatever you say, Nico. I'm just glad. The funny thing was, Nico believed him.